it kind of helped them advance. I mean, do you think this was a conspiracy?
Gotta go Jacob Butter. Gotta go
No,
lefty.
we're talking about the players. That's tournament champion to the podcast.
There he is, right there.
Oh, he doesn't even know how to watch. Go to youtube.com and search Down Lane Podcast. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are streaming live from the lab at Town and Country Lanes. I'm your host, Kyle Haines, and with me is the assistant to the host, Anthony Scaccia.
Darn, you should have said Mayor Mike.
I know, I should have. You're right.
Every week, man.
And welcome to the show, Mr. Mayor himself, Michael
How you guys doing?
Scaccia.
And the crowd goes wild.
Wow.
Woo, thanks, guys.
Producer Austin Van Buren, as always, welcome to the shop. Tonight we got in the chat Mitch Young, Zach Gravel. What's going on, guys? And Jack Papa! You're welcome for that.
Mitch Young.
What's going on, everybody?
He's back.
Before we get even into anything, don't forget to like, subscribe, click the bell to get alerts from the channel. Check out the
Check
Etsy
out the
shop.
Etsy
Please don't do that. It'll throw me right
You
off.
throw me right off.
And it is very
And
annoying.
it's very annoying to people.
Email us at downlanepod@gmail.com. Anthony is in a mood tonight. I don't understand what is going on. Let's see here. If you can't watch on YouTube, you can always download and listen via your favorite podcast outlet.
Why are you even shorts,
Tonight,
Mike?
we are going to be talking about the PBA Indiana, what's that, Classic or whatever they're
Yeah,
calling
I
that
think
thing. We are going to be talking about the new announcement that they announced today, the All-Star Weekend that's going to be coming up in March. And go bowling. And then talk a little bit, like we always do, about our previous week. So why don't we do that? How was your guys' week this week?
Any takers?
Heck of a lot better than last week, I can tell you.
Austin was under the weather, as they say.
Twas the flu.
Was it?
Yeah, my dad.
Twas it?
He got a call this morning from the doctor and verified case of the flu from him. So,
Wow.
Was he gone tonight? Is he out
But
tonight?
your dad's got the flu too? You gave him the flu?
dude, I
You are a
suppose so.
dirty rat.
Maybe I gave you the flu last Thursday.
Who knows? All I know is I still have congestion, but we're ready to bowl tonight with
Nice.
some new equipment.
We're going to
Oh.
be playing bowling.
Playing the bowling. Michael, how was your week this week?
Good, actually.
Yeah?
I bowled good. Can't complain.
How'd Sunday go?
Yeah, I thought you said you bowled.
I mean, aside from Sunday, I had 716. So I really can't complain.
What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean? We had, aside from Sunday, I had 716.
Aside from Sunday, I am.
So tell us about Sunday. Stop leaving out the good parts.
We'll just leave out that Sunday part,
Somebody
You gotta-
said,
you gotta own your bad days.
I do remember that.
but I don't want to.
I do remember that Kyle's like, Michael, you need to bowl. Did you bowl good on Sunday? And Michael's like, well, if you think minus 250 is good, then yeah, I'd bowl pretty good.
And it was freaking 47 feet. That was Michael's bread and butter. He loves to hook the lane.
Right. So I guess
You
I
don't
think this was the first ever tournament I couldn't hook the bot lane.
what?
I know.
the lanes are oiled wrong.
I'm sorry, guys.
They must have been upside down. They put the right side of the lane up.
They put a reverse block out and not say
I
anything?
don't know. I was able
Um,
to stand at 30 max, so couldn't get to 40 or 50.
It's just you saying those numbers. I don't think I've ever been that far right in my life.
Well, you're a
I don't
lefty.
think I've been that far.
Yeah, Michael saws on
Michael
it.
doesn't know right of 20.
Keep moving lefter.
Well, technically, I don't really know left or right of 22.
Yeah.
But
Let's talk about the Zach Wilkins guy. You guy
Oh
can,
yeah.
So we do have the bowl TV stream going on the screen here for our viewing pleasure to keep you guys updated.
EJ's got
live.
the first 9. No shocker.
So we bowled, Anthony and I, not together, but we bowled the doubles tournament up in Glens Falls this past weekend, which was a blast for some.
Yeah, I thought they were a little bit more hooked than I expected this weekend, especially after not bowling all week. I did both last Thursday. It was more of a rep day to try to get some reps in before the weekend because I was sick.
Another under the weather player.
Yeah, so I did shoot 137 out of the gate on Thursday night. Yes, that it is on the house shot. So
Let's go, Anthony.
thank you. I did strike out the next 2 games in the 10th to win by 1 pin and 2 pins the next 2 games. So that's all that matters. But yeah, we bowled up there this weekend. It was interesting because I talked to somebody who bowled up there today, Tyler D. And he said, man, were they freaking tight? And I said, I don't know what world you're living in, but they were freaking hooking out the window.
Yeah.
So I said I was using urethane on 43 feet, 29 milliliters. There was a lot of head. So there's a lot of front hook. Bless you, Kyle.
Bless you.
So I was able to exploit that. I saw that in like 2 or 3 shots with my resin pieces. And EJ doesn't. Oh, Zach Wilkins. Never mind. He got a 5 count. So I did see a lot of front hook, and I was able to get into the urethane piece. I ended up plus 10 myself, which I probably was about 100 short of what I really should have been. I just don't think that I bowled well. I was kind of, me and my partner Matthew, we're trying to grind out the finals because it would have been like a 5-game practice session for me. And then in the finals, I probably would have been able to, I'm not going to say pick it up, but I think I might have been able to focus a little bit more and revitalize myself and really I was kind of like pacing my attention span because I was kind of a little bit out of it.
Yeah.
Not out of it, but I just wasn't my best. So I was just trying to give just enough and have, as they call him, the goat lefty. I was trying to have him kind of carry me. It just didn't happen. It just wasn't the day for us, and that's okay. I know Nick and Kyle cashed, but honestly, it was 43 feet. So I had more than a 42 feet length. So that means that Nick and Kyle are actually going to bowl good. So they did get the last cash spot. Little upset they didn't make the match play. I don't know.
Oh, thanks. 2 weeks in a row, we
I
cashed.
wish I could cash.
But yeah, I mean,
That's 2 more cashes than you had last year.
Wow,
one
EJ's
more
got the
because
first
I had
11.
I had
Are
to
you-
win last year.
Are you
No
hitting your
shocker.
goals this year?
I haven't been tracking,
I don't
but
I don't think it's.
Wait, do you have goals this year, Kyle? Because I'd like to know.
my goal is to win.
Well, I mean, I won
I
this
know.
year.
Let's go
Technically,
through
technically,
people's
No,
goals
that
this
was
year.
last year.
do you count that as last year? Or do you count that as this year? Because this year's bowling season.
Well, this year, 2024,
I won
I've
at
got
the
2
end.
cashes.
I've got-
yeah, so you
oh,
had a
so I'm
win last
0 for.
year. Yeah, so you're 0 for now.
Hmm.
No, but so this past Sunday, it was a fun start. Can you guys keep your hands to yourselves? This is like talking to my children.
He hit me first.
So
Retaliation, Michael.
immediately out of the gate, and this is my error for not seeing it right away, but
That is
a
$2.99
for EJ Tackett.
It did strike though. That would have been
it would have been
the
13th.
13th in this
It would have been
tournament.
the 13th.
And that was
Absolutely
the
insane.
He looks
The
all right.
scores
He didn't
have
throw it that
been
good.
immaculately high.
Immaculately.
It's a big
Immaculately
word.
high.
Clean,
I know
cleanly
it's
high.
not a word.
That's a big
They've
word
been-
for
Well,
you,
it's a
Mikey.
word, but
It's not the right word.
so Sunday morning,
remember that.
we get there, and we're looking at 30 mils, 43 feet, and I just go to my reality right away, just as the see where the lanes are going to play ball, basically. So it hits the lane, and I can't keep it on the right side of the lane, so I start playing with some different stuff.
Can
And
I take
then
a guess
what's that?
what you ended in? Can I take a guess?
Yeah, in a minute.
Oh, okay.
So the whole first game, I went through my reality, absolute power,
Attention.
exotic gem,
Attention star.
and I did use my attention star once, and I played every arrow on the right side, and shot 140. Just trying.
But were they hooking?
So they were basically revving up super early and going straight. So it felt like they were tight, but I could see the ball going straight in the back part of the lane.
Mm.
So it wasn't that they were hooking and going left, like a lot of people would expect to see when you say hook. They were hooking early, if you want to say hook, or burning up early, and the ball was going straight in the back part of the lane. So what some people might see as, like Tyler said, as tight, they played tight because if you were using something with a lot of surface, or in my case, surface or asim, the ball did not make the corner in the back end of the lane. So now would you like to guess what I used the rest of the day?
Was it polished?
It was.
Was it green?
What color is that ball? Green? Greenish, yellowish.
Okay. Yeah. figured
Summit Peak.
I would have told you to start with that, but
So I should have started with it, Summit Peak, and we went for the last 4 games. I shot 850, or 848 or something. So I finished with a 980. Nick shot 1016, and we missed caching by all skid, no flip.
Kyle's got the best. Or no, that's Joey D. Sorry.
So we missed making the finals by like 10 or 15 pins, which I also missed a couple of really easy spares that would have caused or got us into the number.
Not supposed to do that.
And we also got a couple, I don't want to say bad breaks. Breaks are breaks, but that it is what it is. But yeah, the spares were the
had a
controllable
couple that
things.
didn't fall your way.
Yeah. And but the whole first game, shooting a 140 out of the gate is not helpful either for your team. But the scores, I gotta say, and it's probably because it was doubles. If it was singles, you'd have guys that were a couple hundred over. But when your doubles partner doesn't shoot the same, only I think the leaders were 180 over going into finals, and the number was like 13 or 18 or 15 or something
17.
like that. 17, right around there. Okay.
16 or 17. I mean, it was fairly low. We were in the cut the last game and we hit, I will say that the building plays like it's 3 different bowling alleys, which is fine.
Yeah.
Not complaining about the fact that happens. It's a big center.
Right.
So that happens.
And it's also built as 2 or 3 different places too. You've got the one set of approaches, then another set of approaches, and then a whole other set of approaches. If you would stop kicking everything, Michael, I'm going to kick you out of here soon enough.
Yeah, you are correct. You are correct. It is kind of a different foundation, I guess. But the low end, I always bowl better on. The middle, I usually struggle until I get to 25 and 26. And 23.
Did you hit that pair?
23, 24 is my favorite. I always bowl good on 23, 24. 25 and 26, I did shoot 240 with 2 opens. So I'm very good at that part.
You're like 10 for 10 on that pair.
I whack that pair for 250 like every time I bowl.
Dude, what? It's crazy because I like
the high end
better.
Yeah, because you like
there's less hook.
Nick will have to correct me, but I was on 21 and 22 or 25,
The ball
23
gets
and
through the
24.
lane farther for me on the high end.
I don't know what world you're playing in because I have it the opposite way around. I have the high end hooking like 5 or 6 more and earlier.
Every year I bowl there, the low end is where I bowl my lowest, and it's usually because I can't get far enough left.
I think you should change your idea because I've bowled good in that.
Throw different ball.
I've bowled good in that building. I think for the past 4 years, I've always bowled good in that building, basically. And I have the low end wicked tight in the front and the middle, which is why I bowl 20 pins higher on that end. And at the middle, still haven't figured that out because the middle is horrible
Except
for me.
For your favorite pair. That's
not really the middle, though.
That is exactly the middle.
I guess I'll say low middle. So like 10 to 20, I don't bowl good on. You get me 21 to about 34, I'm okay on. Oh, how many lanes are there? 40?
42.
Okay, then never
something
mind.
Like that. Yeah.
So I'm good from like 23 to 26, and then anything
Exactly
above that is not good. That's not the middle. 42, so it would be
yes, you're right.
20,
21 and
would
2
be the
is
middle.
Exactly the middle.
So I guess it's more of the middle. I guess the low middle.
Yeah.
We would call that from like lane 11 to about 18. I don't bowl. I've obviously bowled good on those pairs, but I haven't found something that is just consistent. Dude, you put me on the low end, I will whack the low end every time. I started off with 250. We were on 1 and 2. I shot 190 the next game, but that pair was actually a little bit wonky. Like the left lane was about 7 tighter than the right lane, which is okay. I mean, I shot 190. I didn't execute very well on that pair because I didn't really figure it out fast enough. But then once I went to my good pair, I freaking whacked them. And then we got to the high end and we were in the cut. We were plus 20 and the cut was like plus 10. And like, all we need here is like an even game. And I think me and Matt started with 80 in the 6th.
Yikes.
Both on opens.
Yeah.
Matt plastered one and left a 7-9. I thought the whole world was going to be thrown up in the air. I was like, oh no.
Yeah. We needed like a couple of I needed like a 220. We both needed like 220s the last game, and we both had big game reactions on the lane. You know what I mean?
You got to get when you have big lane
And-
reaction.
but like,
You got to
in
get
the right lane, I
Gotta get it.
struck every time, maybe except the first frame, and then the left lane, I was in the pocket the whole time and could not strike.
Yeah,
And it just was very frustrating when like you just
you're right
couldn't
there.
get them. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's
Shot 190. Like it was just very frustrating.
That's the hardest part. That's the hardest part. I know. The funny part is Matt and I have seemed to bowl well at different times. Where he shot 250, or 248 or whatever. I shot like 180. I think I stoned an 8 twice on that pair. I think that's why I had 180. But anyways, it's definitely interesting to see because a lot of times we play similar parts of the lane, but we play very vastly different games.
Yeah.
I'm usually a little bit right of him, and I like to find the hook because I like to have guaranteed hook. Like I want that hook. He does not want hook. He wants hold to the right.
Right.
And I'm like, well, what are you good at?
And the interesting part is, not to interrupt you, but the interesting part is you're using urethane all day but like to be right, and he's bringing resin
and he
wants to be left.
Yeah.
You would think it would be the complete opposite.
Yeah, it was weird. I threw, well, obviously I deciphered the pattern fairly quickly when I threw like 3 shots with my mindset. It was at 1,000. It wasn't anything crazy. It was at 1,000 just to make sure it was fresh, and it's pinned down. And it is drilled to kind of roll, just kind of tumble. And I saw it tumbling at 10 feet. And I said, well, that's going to be good for me. So I threw my purple hammer and I destroyed the rack. I turned around and said, Matt, where's your urethane? He goes, yeah, I didn't bring any today.
What?
I was like, no. Yeah, I don't know if it would have been good for him though, because he couldn't get guaranteed hook. And if urethane doesn't hook, it's terrible. Like if you don't have the right, like if urethane,
if it doesn't rev up, it's not going to
you're
work.
not going to bowl good with it. You
So
can't.
I feel every time it's in my hand.
Oh, well, you need a lesson from me because I apparently can find friction. So it was funny because he didn't bring it, which is fine. It didn't bother me at all. I'm like, Matt is going to find, I said, the one game I think he bowled well. He didn't struggle the first 2. Things just didn't fall his way in the beginning. And then we get to game 3 where I didn't bowl well and he was lighting him up. And I was like, well, what do you do? What do you do when you bowl your best? He's like, he calls it the shim, Kyle.
Sorry, Ethan was in the window. I didn't notice for a minute.
He says, I like to find the shim.
Yeah.
And I said, right, you find the shim and you need to find guaranteed hook and you just fire missiles. That's what you're good at.
Yeah.
I mean, like fire missiles, but you throw it strong and you stay on the ball. You don't try to finesse it.
Yep.
I said, that's your game. My game is find the hook. I'm going to belly it a little bit because that's just how I play them.
Right.
And for me, because I'm able to get the ball to hook early, I don't have to worry about, having guaranteed hook. So finding something that's just going to control the mid lane for me, especially when I wasn't feeling the best, was super important. And of course, urethane works. So I knew I wasn't going to come out of it because I said to him, I'll struggle with urethane because I know I'm going to get 250 somewhere down the line, which I had 250 the first game and I had 250 or 260 the 4th game if I didn't open twice. So I look at it that way, where I was given the opportunities, I just didn't execute well enough. But it's interesting how 2 lefties can bowl together and bowl so vastly
very
different
experiences. Yeah.
Yeah. Like he didn't have guaranteed hook, and I think he needed to find it. And I just don't think that he had a ball, I'll say, at the right surface that was going to give him that guaranteed hook. His pin down stuff was just a little too slow and clean, and his pin up stuff was burning up. So it was kind of in that weird range. Like, how do you play it? And if he hit the 1 board, it hooked a mile. If he hit the 2 board, it went dead straight. So he really didn't have ball reaction that was, I'll say that was even match play worthy. But the fact that we even got close to match play was quite impressive. As me being sick and him having basically 0 ball reaction, a testament to the grinder mentality. He really didn't miss anything all day. He was like, whatever he left, he picked up, and we grinded our way. And I know I didn't bowl good, and I was plus 10. I should have been 100 over, but it is what it is. I was a little upset we didn't make the cut because I felt like if we made it, we were going to have a chance because you could put some surface on the ball again. I had to have 5 games of kind of practice, I would call it. I don't want to call it practice, but I have 5 games where I've haven't had to run around with machines, worry about anything else, and I could just focus on my game and, kind of figure out why I'm missing the spares or just not leave anymore. But we just didn't get to that point. We got a bad pair that I don't like to say a bad pair, but it was a pair that was very tricky for both of us, and we didn't figure it out fast enough. We needed to figure out in the third frame, the third or the fourth frame. We needed to have really good like stuff sevens or strikes or whatever it was. And I think we both went. I think I 3-7'd on that lane 3 times on the right lane. Yeah, so it just wasn't meant. It just wasn't meant because the 6th. Then I threw a double in the 7th and 8th. Maybe I could have punched out for 210, and I think I just didn't throw a good shot after that. But it was definitely tricky, especially with the building. And the high end I don't bowl well on, so maybe you should flip your mindset and bowl like I bowl. The high end hooks more, the low end doesn't hook as much in the mid lane. And maybe
Can we just tell them to combine our scores? You can have the low end, I'll take the high end, and
I mean, I'm okay with that.
I mean, I know for sure, like Nick and I would have had a shot in match play because we had really good ball reaction once we made the right moves and got left and got the right balls. It's just that the beginning of the night or beginning of the day rather, and then a couple of spares here and there. But
we definitely need
overall we bowled well.
We definitely need to drill you and Nick some fresh 2-inch pin bowling balls. I think that's a good idea.
Well, I don't know. I'm not against it, but for me, for playing that friction surface up there, I probably would have started with something like I don't even know if a phase 2 would have worked, but maybe an IQ tour or
wow, you're talking real low.
Yeah.
Well, I was thinking maybe an asymmetrical that is drilled 90 by 2 by 40.
I'm saying I don't even know if I would use an asymmetrical because everything that was asymmetrical, even the exotic gem, it would not roll up.
Yeah, but you got to remember that layout is still that layout on your bowling balls. Now we're going to get a little bit nerdy on some of the bowling balls that we have for you, Kyle, especially when you go like exotic gem. Those balls have lower VALs, so they're a lot more diggy in the mid lane. If we can use
Mitch. keep the bowling balls coming.
If you go with an asymmetrical bowling ball, and I'm not saying use a lot of surface on it, but I'm saying when you use that longer drill angle, like the exact gem is a 70, 75. It's also like 4.5 by 35. So it's in a larger flare area for the pin to PAP.
Right.
And your VAL is lower, so it's going to dig more in the mid lane. If we use like 90 by 2 by 45 or 50, that ball is just going to tumble. And it's going to flare only 2 inches. It's going to be more than the last time we did a 3/4 inch pin ball.
Right.
We did that. So I think that might be a little bit better because even though you're using an asymmetrical block, get a little more urethane-y. It's going to get you a little straighter. You probably could still bend the lane a little bit with it. It's not going to be too slow, but it's probably going to just get you a little bit square up the lane to eliminate the 140 because as I'm finding out with you, where the higher VALs are better, a little bit more matched layouts are better where they retain more energy. You kind of want some of that friction built in. So on 43 feet, as it was your A game before, I think maybe finding out how to combat the front hook,
right,
especially at all these other places we go to, is probably your biggest issue. And Nick is the same thing.
Yep.
So you guys going with 2-inch pins there and just try to be a little bit straight up the lane. You both shoot. Well, let's just say you find something that shoots better.
When I even forget what his first game was, even if it was 200 or 220. Even if I shoot 180, we're in.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If you can manage it a little bit differently, that's all you're looking for. You're just looking for
I think in that game I missed a stupid spare. Whatever. Yeah. But regardless.
I'm just saying.
I could have, even with what I had, if I didn't jump around, if I just sat in one spot, you know what I mean? And maybe managed the game a little better and just forced it instead of like looking for a better shot. Because we watched guys bounce it off the gutter, and even when I moved to the gutter, my balls wouldn't freaking roll over. They would hit the gutter and go straight. And I'm like, why are these guys able to bounce it off the gutter?
I didn't have that problem.
Mine hit the gutter, went left, and went straight. So it would nothing would retain any energy.
That's my kind of ball right there. You have to hook it 15 feet.
Sounds like you weren't throwing it straight enough towards the gutter.
Yeah, exactly, Kyle.
Listen.
I don't want to hear it.
Anyway,
no excuses.
All right. So 2 weeks of at least not losing any money.
Tournament club this weekend?
Tournament club. Well, before we get into tournament club, we'll talk about the PBA this week because it's a little bit of a combination between the PBA this week and Tournament Club because we're going to be bowling on the same thing. Yeah, so before we get into that, don't forget to like, subscribe, click the bell to get alerts from the channel. This is all on YouTube, of course. If you can't watch on YouTube, you can always download and listen via your favorite podcast service. And you can check out our Etsy shop where you got the Bowler's Bowl t-shirt. You've got our Thane Bang shirts. And you can always email us at downlanepod@gmail.com. Check out our socials, as they call them these days.
I will say that I am becoming a little bit more better at picking balls for patterns, I think.
Okay.
And places I'm going. I know that's kind of like a weird thing to say, but Saturday we bowled Sammy V's tournament a few weeks ago. I brought 6.
Use purple.
I did use purple.
And Sunday you brought 6. Use purple.
Nope.
Then tournament before that you brought 6. Use purple.
So I threw purple for half a game at that one and went into polished. And I brought the right stuff where I bowled pretty well except for the 130 game. And then the 130 game was just my fault. I'd never adjusted. And then we went to Uncle Sam's, which was 37 feet. So we went from 43 feet to 37.
Yep,
That's obviously purple. I could have brought a clamshell for that. And then this one, I brought 9, and Kyle looks at me
purple.
right. Yep. The first thing Kyle says to me when I walked into, or when we got to Nick Harris's house,
Why'd you bring so many?
he's like, "What are you nervous today? Because 30 milliliters." End up just throwing a purple hammer, and I'm getting good at picking the purple hammer.
Really good at picking it.
I mean, and honestly, like I never would have used it on all that stuff, but now it's just like I'm good at using it. So I don't know why I don't have 6 purple hammers.
I will say, piggybacking off of your picking equipment a little better nowadays. The past 3 tournaments I've bowled in, I've been able to get to the pocket pretty reliably with within 1 ball change.
Well, that's a good thing. Less guessing.
Yes.
Yep, the tournament at Uncle Sam's, the Super Bowl doubles. I threw the ball I started with for 4 games and jumped out of it into the ball I threw for the rest of the 4 games.
Well, it's a good thing that you're choosing correctly because Kyle clearly doesn't.
That was only 1 game.
Oh, okay.
I used the same ball for 4 games after
All
that.
you had to do was choose right the first time. You don't have to change so much.
Kyle, I didn't even know you bowled, and I knew you should have thrown the Summit Peak.
Great. Good for you. Why don't you send me that message?
Well, that ball is
just ridiculous for you.
It is
really
good.
And I'm not going to use it tonight.
But it is a little bit tricky, though. It doesn't look good all the time
No.
here.
No, because it rolls forward a little bit.
It does go forward if the ball, if it for whatever
can't-
reason,
Yep.
just kind of gets a
I
little
can't
funky.
throw the theorem on the house shot. No way.
Yeah, reads
Yeah,
real early.
neither can I.
All right, let's talk about the PBA this week. We got the
Scores are high.
Indiana Classic. There's very few spares, and that's not because they're not making them. It's because they're not leaving them. There are a lot of X's, and we're not talking about women.
With a lot of close,
Are they in Texas?
with a lot of close record-breaking squats.
Dude, this is ridiculous.
What are they
the
bowling?
scores.
They're
Viper, which is what we're going to be bowling
Freaking-
on this
A
weekend.
wall.
this
They're bowling on a
tournament-
wall.
as of 32 games, there's been 300 games.
I thought it was 13 now.
No, that
Oh,
was
those are
that would
299.
have been 13.
299.
Yeah.
But each of
That's quite interesting. I mean, I could see it with 37 feet. I see some
The
urethane
top
out
five-
there.
The top 5 are all 240.
Well, it's 37 feet. You know,
Why their average go down? Because they were 245.
well, okay then.
Well, first was 245.
Oh, they did go down a little bit, but yeah.
I mean, I could see it being because it's a little shorter, and if the gutter really plays well, that they're obviously just going to throw it off the gutter.
Yeah.
You
That's
know?
what the strategy is for some of these people.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah. I mean, I'm
It's
watching Troop
either-
here. Troop's actually a little bit straighter than I would expect if for the scores to be that high. But obviously, there's got to be a little bit of hook and a little bit of hang, or they're just tearing it up enough to where they've created a little bit of carry
I
down.
think it just depends who's bowling. If you have Kyle Troop, heels right, or some people could be left, standing left, throwing right.
EJ's definitely banking it. Saw
Yeah.
Stu standing left.
Yeah.
It's
Belmo-
37 feet, 32 mils. So you got a lot of oil sitting there in half the lane. And the build is actually somewhat narrow. I mean, I didn't read the actual I don't know if you did when you looked at the pattern download. But I don't know how many 2-2s there are, but there is a little bit of buildup in the middle of the lane. So I don't know. It seems like you can play kind of straight as you move left.
Whoa.
EJ just.
Yeah, he
His ball rolled forward there. So it looks like this pair's a little bit trickier than the last one he had. He's got 2-9 counts a strike. Oh, wait, nope. They changed the picture
And
on
if
me.
you see
In the middle of me
Belmo in the
looking at
first frame 3 gutter.
Belmo guttered. Did somebody notify him the gray boards don't hook?
Oh.
wow.
I'm just
Maybe he got stuck. Maybe he stuck.
maybe he got
on
nervous because he's
approach, yeah.
bowling West Malott.
Wow.
And Wes
Nasty.
is from Texas.
Is he a Texas native?
So anyway,
I have
yeah.
no idea.
How
didn't
about
know
these
that.
scores though? Like averaging 245 in a PBA tournament. We
That's,
talked. I think we talked about this. What was it last week? The tournament before that, where the scores were just
Okay.
absolutely insane. What's up, Deke? How's it going?
Deke, I know, left-handed urethane. It's like peanut butter and jelly. I don't understand.
Grape
but
jelly too.
You know what? Sometimes,
unbeatable combo.
it is what it is.
And I think Deke made the finals, didn't he, last week?
Yeah, congratulations,
Yeah, congratulations,
Deke.
Deke.
Deke did bowl well. He's a grinder. He's a great player. 14 pounds of fury. He makes it look better than Kyle did, and I
Wow.
appreciate watching him throw it.
Wow.
There's the oil pattern.
So anyway, yeah, they're on Viper. We're bowling on Viper this weekend.
Yeah, we are bowling a Viper.
So we're gonna see how we
stack up.
how we match up to these professionals.
I will say that I'm excited to bowl on this just because it's going to give me a little bit of an opportunity to throw some other bowling balls. I do believe that I will throw a black hammer.
Oh, that's what you mean. Just different urethane.
Yeah. Well, so
Simon with a
when we bowl
710.
tournament club, obviously we are using the PBA pattern. So I feel as if I'm going to get practice, I should see how I do with the black one because obviously I can't use purple,
Sure.
and I know purple would work in this situation. So the black one.
Deke Tournament Club is here at Town and Country Lanes.
Yes, we
It's
have
our club event.
We do have a club, Deke, and we bowl on PBA patterns, and we also we will also be having a practice session on Saturday. So our people who join the club get 5 free games a week. They get 6 tournaments a year on PBA patterns. We do practice sessions on the pattern the day before, like a regional. We have a small dress code. We're not super strict, but we just want people to look nice. And then we have 2 different divisions. So we're able to get a bunch of different skill level in there, and everybody's able to learn about the pattern the day before and then go out and try to execute their game plan. So that way they get a little bit of a regional feel as well. So it is a nice little organization that we've started here. It is good. We have 50 players, and we usually get about 30 to 35 participants
Each
Over
week or
here.
each tournament.
They let me in for some reason.
Ha.
Well, yeah, we like you, Austin. I mean, you know.
And you paid.
And you paid, yeah.
I threw money at him. Pretty much
So-
sealed the deal.
It is interesting to see. I'm excited to use the black hammer to see how I can stack up this week. And I think I'll be okay. I'm actually debating not bringing it because I'd like to seriously try other bowling balls.
Yeah, but you've got to see what because I know you've used it, but it seems like because there's no PBA tournaments really, you don't really get to use the black one that
Well,
often. So
I
you've
did
gotta use
ask.
it a little.
Well, I did ask if I was supposed to be using it, if I could use it. This was a while ago when it first got announced, and it was kind of like, hey, we just want it for PBA use right now. So I don't know if things have changed. I'm sure the PBA guys can throw it whenever. Like I've seen Packy throw it at other tournaments.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm not that good or that high profile, so it's not like I need it. I can still throw the purple ball. So I'd like to just see how it stacks up.
Right.
And plus my new blue hammer, that's something that I would really like to try out. A lot of guys aren't using that. I think Benji Martinez was using it a little bit while ago. I think I saw him throw it. I do really like that ball as like a replacement purple. It's a little bit cleaner, but it is something that I'd like to try out on 32 mils because I probably need to crush it with 500 or 360 just to get what I'm kind of looking for. Then my black hammer will probably be able to go up 500. Or maybe I still have to experiment with that a little bit.
Sure.
So I'd like to see how it stacks up. And then I can stack it up against these guys. That's another reason I like you chose the Viper this week, even though I said you should have done Dragon because I wanted some long practice. But we're on the short, so it's going to be able to give me a spot of how am I bowling compared to these guys, and it gives all of our guys an idea of, man, look how good these guys bowled this week on this.
There was 2 reasons.
Look how good they are.
There was 2 reasons why I decided to do Viper. So one was we've done 1 short pattern so far this year. All the rest have been 40 or above. So
And it was at Boulevard.
the 38-foot short pattern was at Boulevard,
Played like 45 feet.
and it played long.
I missed like 30 spares.
That was a rough go for me that day.
And so the rest were 40, 42, 43 or something. Actually, no, we played a really long one, I think, before too. So I said, all right, so there's that. And then they're bowling on Viper this week. So like you just said, it would be nice to see, all right, how do I compare against these guys who are averaging 240 to make the show?
Yeah, let's make us feel bad.
Yeah.
That cut's going to be minus.
So, but
I'm gonna go plus.
but still, like, let's see, how what am I going to score in 4 games with versus what these guys score in 4 or 5 or 6, however many they score in a block, the first block. So, and we can even print that out too. We can show them, what their 6-game block looked like in the first round.
Yeah,
because that would basically be the same thing.
I mean, I'd like to see what they're using. I wonder how many people are paying attention, because when they come in, obviously to get practice. I mean, not even that, but
bowling ball wise, you're saying?
Yeah, for what these guys
are. A
are
bunch of videos I
throwing
saw was early on, at least, were urethane. I know Andrew Hall was using black. That was on the PTQ pattern. Sorry.
No, what I'm saying is I wonder how many of our guys are paying attention to this event. Because it's out now, and maybe getting an idea early,
right,
about what to use. Obviously, everybody's gonna have their own thought process.
Sure.
Process like that.
Yeah.
On how things are gonna go. But it's interesting to see if anybody's going to be taking a look at, if they've watched it all this week and say, man, that's pretty cool that we're going to bowl in this. And now I've seen, well, this guy kind of throws it like me. Obviously, they don't throw it like we do. We are average people. But like that's where I kind of like to play my lane, where I like to play it. What kind of ball is he using? Maybe people will be able to pick up on that and maybe make a better game plan for themselves too. We usually use the regional patterns, but we don't have our pattern out for Binghamton. So this one was the next best option.
Mikey, 37 feet. Where would you play?
Left.
I don't know. It depends.
Purple hammer.
I could. High or low mills?
High, 32 mils.
I'd probably play up the gutter then, or go up to 20 maybe.
Good call. Wow.
I mean, Michael does.
Was that too big of a jump?
I mean, no, because that's what all the pros do. They either play the gutter.
You either go up straight or you go left.
That's what
one or the
most
other. You
people
can't
do.
be in the middle.
There's only 2 boards to play. the single board on the right and the single board on the left. You got to either loft it. Yeah. So let's talk about, I know we're talking about the scores and how high they've been and how great they are. How about the All-Star weekend that are coming out? You got to vote.
Yeah.
I don't know what your thoughts are, but I think it's kind of silly seeing how. Listen, this is just my God's honest truth opinion. The Pro Bowl is a joke.
And we're talking about football, obviously.
Yep. The NBA All-Star game.
Yep.
Was the lowest viewed in history.
Yeah.
So let's go out and have a great idea.
Are you kidding me?
Whatever it was. Let's go out.
Seriously?
200 points on one team.
No.
Yeah.
So there was.
They don't play defense.
They
just
stood on
there
their
is
side.
no defense.
They just throw
the ball
court
to each other and
That's
shoot.
all they did.
Wow.
I saw one.
They had the lowest viewing, I believe, in history for All-Star, for their All-Star game.
Okay.
And now the bowling is going to try to apparently bring the All-Star game or the All-Star weekend back.
Yeah.
Which it seems like a good idea, but it seems like a lot of people don't have interest in the All-Star for other sports. So I wonder the decision.
I
here.
just don't think it'll pan out to how they want it to.
The weird thing to me, and I know why they're doing it, is because Pocono, they're doing it in
200 to 11 to 186.
They're doing it with the Go Bowling Pocono
Phoenix Raceway, but
it's at Phoenix now.
Go Bowling is in Watkins Glen. So this actually,
Yes.
I'm gonna stop you right there for a second because it doesn't make any sense. Because the Go Bowling race, is in Watkins Glen, which is a
road course.
Spring or summer race or something like that.
That is a I don't know.
But they're doing this in March, in Phoenix, which is a different race, not related to bowling, as far as I'm aware. I was looking it up today, and it's not a Go Bowling race. It's not a PBA race. It's weird. So, but they're going to do the bowling lanes, like Mitch is saying, at the racetrack, and they're going to involve a bunch of NASCAR
and
drivers.
I believe they've done this before.
Yes, they did it last year.
Yeah,
but it wasn't like this all-star weekend thing.
It was,
and I believe it's because they aren't doing the celebrity
Chris Paul.
like
thing?
Chris Paul
But
type thing
when
again.
Oh,
when-
Jimmy Allen.
Jimmy Allen in
when
this
you
case.
when you brought up
Yeah.
the All-Star thing to me, I did go into the schedule, and they have a whole All-Star tournament from the league in November.
Right. Separate
is-
from this event.
Yeah, and the weird part is that all 12 bowlers are already picked.
Right.
Yeah,
But this is
they're-
totally
you gotta,
different.
You gotta vote or something.
Yeah, you have to
There's
vote
Zach
for
Yeah, the early
Wilkins,
one.
Zach Wilkins, and
you have to vote
David
to
Kroll.
get them in because there's
Simo, EJ.
yeah, but there's
Billy O.
there's
Get them in
what
for
are they
what?
calling the new people?
Rookies.
They're not rookies, but they're calling them like
Newbies.
no, I forget what the word is, but
Good, Kyle. Good. I'm glad you forgot. what
whatever.
it was.
There's like the new people.
Novices?
Then there's the all stars like EJ and Simo, and then there's the legends like we'll call it Pete
nobodies,
Weber,
the zeros.
whatever. How dare you?
I'm just saying.
They paved the way.
Now I think
Okay.
Who?
instead
So,
of the
the
Chris
Pete
Paul
Weber
event-
and freaking.
I just said the new Pete. You just
no.
said you don't
I
know
said the
name
all
of the-
star. I said the legends.
Yeah, but you don't know
There's
the name
three
of the people
levels.
who are on the lower level. I said the zeros, the nobodies, the
Yeah.
Michael
I already-
Jordan
I
and the
already went
Looney
over them.
Tunes.
Jeez Louise, man. Yes, but you have to
It's a
vote
decent
for who
movie.
you want
Good
them to
movie.
show up. All right. Which yeah, again, I agree with you. It's kind of a weird concept. I already disliked the celebrity event, which I guess was well viewed, but
Are they gonna do like a
I enjoyed
strike thing?
the 2010 to 2013 CP3 events. Like,
Yeah.
I thought those
Those
were
were
pretty
pretty
well
cool.
put together.
Michael, you were like 3.
Well, there's a thing called rewatching.
They're all on YouTube.
Yeah.
What year were you
see?
born?
I was born in 2010.
Ugh.
Okay, so there you go. So you were
But
0 when Chris
There's this,
Paul
there's
started.
this thing called
Kyle,
YouTube where
what-
we watched.
What year were you
born?
born?
Let's not discuss that. But I was already out of college.
Now, instead of the CP3 event or what's the other one, the Jimmy Allen one,
Yeah.
they put the NASCAR Invitational instead of that.
And now this is including that
Yeah.
as well.
I think it'd be cool if they were like driving around the track and they had bowling right next to it. So when the guy went up, you could just hear the engine going, "Rrrr," and then when they drove by and the ball went on there, if the wind would move it a little bit because there's so much wind, and the ball like you can just see it like kind of like shimmy a
I
little
think they
more to
should
the left.
put the bowler in the passenger seat of the race car. All right. And then the driver has to drive around the track. And then there's a set of pins on the infield. He's got to bring it down pit lane. And then
Seems like a lot of effort to
And then-
hopefully hit pins.
and then you've got EJ in the passenger seat. He's got to stick his arm out the window and roll the ball out the window and try to get a strike.
so waste
They've done that.
time.
I believe Belmo has done that on his personal YouTube channel. by the
Not
way.
inside the car.
Yeah,
No way.
Inside a car.
For sure, yeah, he
with
did,
Dude
yeah.
Perfect.
It
Dude
was on
Perfect,
Dude
yeah.
Perfect, yes.
boomer.
Well, listen.
Dude, do you watch YouTube? Like, we're on YouTube.
Yeah, but I don't care about YouTube. He was not inside the car throwing it out the
He
window.
was.
Yes, he was.
I'll find it.
So it
All
looks like Wes Malott is going to beat Jason Belmonte. Benjamin Martinez seems to be slowing down. He can strike out for a 226, while Arturo Quintero can strike out for 235. So
How about Martinez, though? What a week this week.
big? Oh, he
Oh
stones
my-
an 8 and on. Oh my God, I
Who was
can't
that?
believe it.
Benji Martinez here.
Benji Martinez.
Oh my God, I can't believe it.
I don't believe it.
So it looks like he's more than likely going to lose this game. It looks like he's crying on the inside.
Jeez Louise.
Belmo just 2 pins, so that match is over. So Wes Malott does reign victorious on Belmo.
By
Did
the
you
way,
say
I
8
don't believe that these are our matches. I think this is all just.
You said 8-pin, right? I didn't know Randy was bowling.
What do you mean, Kyle?
I don't believe that these are matches. This is all just.
Bowling?
This is all just pins carry over.
Jesus.
Yeah. So this is not match play. Pins carry over until.
Yeah, they
Step ladder.
They just did elimination round.
Can I
Right,
ask
exactly
you?
right.
Can I ask you a question, Kyle?
What's up?
You already did.
What sense does it make to have 2 people on a pair?
For pace of play, I think it's insane because then it's like takes.
Why don't you just do like 4 per pair? So there's actually a little bit of transition.
Right.
And stay a little bit more neutral and natural.
But then they
Right.
don't.
It's just no
But
match
then
play. This
they don't
this,
re-oil. So They don't re-oil.
Well, they don't need to
so-
re-oil. Oil the
Yeah,
whole
they
house.
don't re-oil because then
Oil the whole house.
the lanes will transition.
You're gonna take less lanes, and you're gonna be
Watch
able
out.
to go. You're gonna be
410.
That's gonna be a loss. Oh wait, we're
2, 4,
not
8, 10.
counting it. If you did 4 prepare, you're using half the house less, and then you can go over and you don't need to re-oil. You just oil it in the morning and let it sit for a bit, and then go back at it, and then go back to the 4s. As long as there's enough lanes, of course.
I think
but
it's just for
I don't.
speeding it up so people aren't bowling slow. Because you have
Well,
one
I mean,
a pair and 2 on a pair is a big difference.
Since
Yeah,
it's
but
not
4 is
match
quick.
play, I agree. I think it is real fast.
it's a
Well,
little silly
as,
to be running
as
this
you
way,
were
no?
saying, 4 and 2 people on a pair doesn't make a difference.
It's a big
these-
difference.
It is, yeah, like I said, but these people have long approaches. Their approaches are like a minute long.
That's true.
So
I take my time at the approach.
I think you need 2-lane courtesy.
You need a freaking whole pair with these guys, 2 pairs with the way these guys are. So
That's
Yeah.
not a 10 per Michael. That's a.
what did you
3
just
ten.
ask before?
What's the
two
point?
Yeah,
What's
what's the
of
point of
having-
if you're especially
Yeah.
if it's not match play? Why are we putting 2 guys on a pair?
Right.
When normally the tournament's only 3. They usually do 3.
It's fine.
Um,
Just have a little bit of transition, a little bit of a second
Agreed.
to breathe.
agreed. Yep.
well, then that's why they don't re-oil. Because then as you move pairs, you'll find transition.
This isn't an elimination round, too. So what does that?
They're all elimination rounds until they cut to the top 5 step ladder.
So real quick, just depending on what the rest of the field does, just between Benji and Arturo, that game right there, I think Arturo shot 199 and
mhm.
Benji shot 215.
Mhm.
That flip flops 5th and 6th, so that puts Benji back in the cut for the step ladder, unless Simo jumped up real big. Which
Simo's
is,
got 1042 for that amount of those same amount of games. All the other guys had 890 and 920. It says it right there. Simo's got 1042 total. So the other guys had like 920. Benji had like 920, and Arturo had like 890.
Okay, this
So
is
he
the
is.
same
I
thing.
think we
Yeah.
already have those.
So
scores.
he's bowling a little bit better than them.
Yeah.
Because he's averaging 260.
Tough night.
Shake it off, Simon. I did hear at the event when Simon won, they're like, "Ugh, he won again. I can't stand him." I'm like, I know he's kind of a, whiner.
No
I was
kidding.
like, he can freaking throw the pellet.
Yeah.
Like you can't knock the guy's ability.
Yeah, of course.
His head is
But he
just
does
a little
whine.
different.
Yeah.
When Simo won that,
Were you happy?
I mean, I was rooting for Bill O'Neill, but I was surprised Billy O shot a 158 in the title match. He was red hot.
You think
all
the
week.
title match is harder to bowl in because you haven't bowled that much, Michael?
Well, the title
He's gotta-
match is always hard because you have more pressure on you.
No such thing as pressure in the title match.
Mitch,
Well, to some people there is like Ryan. Well, no.
When I bowled in the title match, I was throwing it in between my legs.
Mitch
Well,
West
that's not
was
PBA,
in
you know.
8th. We're not sure after that
That's
last
not
game where he went.
PBA.
$20,000 is
You're not-
enough.
Dude, $20,000 is nothing.
He was
Anthony.
on live stream. He wasn't on live TV, but he was on live stream. Okay.
And I threw it in between my legs. The Big
In
Nasty
practice.
has 956 for the 4 games.
I don't know how to get that total. It doesn't help me with because they've got full match total, full tournament total,
Oh, they're running
not
the whole
block
thing.
total.
Well, we can see the block scores here, and Simo
Actually,
is
they do have block total, but they're a game behind online. So I-
Simo
I-
is running away with the block total in
Yeah.
this block so far. He's over everybody by almost 100 by the most I've seen.
Wes,
961.
After 3 games, this block was 100 out of the cut.
Wes, and he shot 956. That looks
I
like
think
pace.
the step ladder is going to be everyone who's in it right now, but I think Arturo is going
After
to
3 games.
be knocked out, and Simon will enter in.
You think Simo's gonna jump in?
Yeah, you're
Yeah, I
probably,
think he
I
will
I will
eliminate
say-
you're probably
Arturo.
right.
Did you
That's my
guys? Did
prediction.
you guys watch the show? Everyone watch it? The
Absolutely,
whole
I
show?
didn't. Well, I was bowling.
Um,
I wasn't able
so
to.
Oh, I was
Same.
bowling also.
Simonson,
I was bowling.
I will say Simonson deserved to win that because he played the lane smarter than everyone else. He knew if he could get by everyone, he would still have to set the lanes up for him. He wasted 3 shots on the right lane just to burn the hook spot in for him.
Well, I did see somebody
he
post
left-
about that on YouTube.
He left 3 10 pins on identical shots on purpose
Hmm.
because he knew he couldn't. He went into the eternity game 1 and I don't even think it hooked. I think he 2-8-10'd, and he went right back and left 3 10-pins in a row to keep burning that line in.
I will say that somebody on the Facebook, a well-known person, I won't say who it is, was complaining about the lane pattern because, not complaining about the lane pattern, but what this gentleman said was, you look at a guy like Simo, who's 550 plus in the rev rate. He's throwing the strongest ball he can find with 180 on it, and his ball still doesn't hook. So how do you expect to play the lane when a guy of that physical nature is not able to hook the ball? How do you bowl? Like, what sense does that make? Why are we showing that on TV? Why does it have to be like that? That's what I was getting at.
Well,
because he's so strong. So you're telling me that if he can't hook it, which he's up right now and he's throwing urethane
Right up
straight,
the
so
ditch.
he'll probably score pretty. Oh, he's
Are we talking about the TV show last week,
yes,
though?
because he was
What
throwing
were they on again?
Dragon.
And that's 45, right?
45 feet, like 33 mils. And he was using like 360 grit gem,
Well,
and he
that-
couldn't get his ball to hook. And they're like, well,
Yeah.
nobody else on tour besides.
Definitely hooked.
Wow.
And he was playing a
Hey,
little
look!
right, though, wasn't he?
But
He
that
was playing straighter than normal, but
Well,
I'm
we're
just
talking
saying
about
what his thought was,
Yeah.
what their thought was. If you're an average guy at home and you're watching this guy
Understood.
throw the ball, and he's better than everybody,
Right.
and he's got a 180 pad grit ball, a 180 grit ball, the strongest ball you can get on this pattern, and he's hooking it 2.5 boards. Now, is it thought?
I
Is it
think
like his
there's a-
thought process
Yeah.
to burn the lane? Maybe, but like to the average player who doesn't look farther into that, they're like, "What the heck am I going to watch this for?" He's not doing
And that's what I was
anything.
just going to
Like,
say.
it
Is
makes no sense.
they don't have the.
That's what I'm saying.
They're not thinking like you just said. They're not thinking about all of the variables like his hand position, his
Yeah.
speed, and all the things he's doing on purpose, like the surface on the ball, to make the ball
He's
go
got-
straighter.
Yeah, he's got 4
Well-
games. He's got 4 games. He's hoping that he gets by the first match, burns up a hole
Right.
in it,
Yeah.
so he can move left and throw the intention star. And when Billy O got there, the lane was transitioned to the point where Bill hadn't had that many games on it,
Right.
and now he's trying to trick it to win. While Simon was like, "Yeah, this is my freaking wheelhouse. I made this pattern the way I wanted to make it, and now I'm into my intention star, and
Right.
now I'm going to be able to win."
but
And then he
Or-
did bank the crap out of that, right?
I don't know. I didn't see. Austin could tell us.
He never ended. I mean, the last game he might have thrown it, but I'm pretty sure he threw the gem the whole show.
No, he threw the intention star
Yeah.
at the end.
Because
did
he held
the
that
last
as
game?
his.
He held it
that
as
as
his trophy ball.
Right.
Right.
And everyone's like,
Then it
"Well,
was-
he threw
it
the
was
gem
the
the whole
last-
time to really
Oh,
get there."
It
wow.
But
was the last game then. But
it was
he-
the last game he switched.
He forced his gem to strike game 2.
Yeah, I bet you he was doing exactly what you're saying. He was burning up the lane. But like we're talking about, the average Joe doesn't realize what is going in between this guy's ears and why he's going to win this event.
Right.
Is because he's setting the lane up and he knows he can beat people on this pattern because it's hard enough to where he can set the lane up for himself for the
Yeah.
last game.
But I think for the
And make the
average
other
view-
lane.
I think for the average viewer, that knowledge isn't necessary. So the score is.
Did he bowl good? I don't even know. Like, did he have high scores?
No, they,
Scores were kind of mediocre.
They were mediocre.
So,
So
I mean,
I would argue that the score was the bigger problem than the knowledge of why he's doing that. I
Yeah.
mean, they explained it pretty well.
did they explain it?
Randy was talking about it. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's good. At least you're
Uh,
explaining it then. Obviously, I didn't watch the show. I wasn't
But-
able to, but
Right.
But
I
they
saw
were-
like 4 shots while we were bowling.
He was definitely hooking the lane a bit. I mean, they
Yeah.
definitely weren't playing straight, but if you got it outside of like 9 at the break
it's
point,
probably
goodbye.
gone. Yeah, well, yeah.
This is what I was talking about in previous episodes, where the science and the in-depth invisible stuff that a lot of people don't understand of what's going on, it does not translate on television. So if you really don't know, which probably 99% of the bowlers out there don't understand,
You think 99% of the baseball fans know what they're watching?
but you can at least understand the game. Like, pitcher throws ball gets hit, fielder catches ball.
That's a lot of things. You know what bowling is?
Yeah, but
Grab ball, throw ball, knock 10
Yes,
down.
I
block,
understand,
lift, and speed.
but there's a lot of variables that are invisible that the bowlers don't, but the viewers don't understand, is my point.
Yeah, like a lot of guys I'm sure don't understand baseball either. Like there's probably plenty of people who, like, if I watch a game, I'm probably looking at it, not saying that I am,
And this is probably why I
Yes.
don't watch baseball, by the way.
but there is there is a chess match between every
Of course.
at bat, right? So
Yeah.
when I'm watching a pitcher or a catcher work to set the guy up, I'm watching pitch sequence, location, how's his bat speed, where's the ball fouled
Right.
off? Is the ball fouled? Did he track the ball? I'm looking at all that stuff. I'm
Tendencies.
not looking. Yeah, I'm looking at a bunch of stuff.
Right.
Like
So-
the average Joe probably
I think-
doesn't really give a crap. It's, he fouled it straight back. He's on it. Well, in reality, he's not on it. I'm just gonna blow a fastball in on his
he
hands
whipped
next because he's gonna miss it because he's late. But like a lot of average
So
Joe
I-
people don't know that.
Right.
It's kind of like bowling. They don't know that either. Like
Yeah,
they don't know all
so-
this other stuff.
So
why is it harder to watch?
So to Kyle's statement that like all the hidden stuff, what about all the hidden stuff in golf?
Well, golf.
hit
I
that-
feel like golf
hit that
is
one lower on the club face to do this.
Yeah.
Hit a cut, hit a draw,
I'm sure,
stinger.
but you can see that though. That's the thing though. Like like okay, it's a dog leg right, and the guy hits it to the right. Like I get that. He's
Yeah.
trying to draw,
Especially
it or
with the
whatever.
tracer and all that stuff.
They had a lot of good technological things to
Right.
help the average
Yeah, but-
person understand it too.
They have
um,
that in bowling.
Yeah, they do. They have a little bit, but you don't know like, what's his hand position? Is he trying to roll the ball? Is he trying to get around it? Because you don't know. Like a lot of the guys watch Kyle Troop, and when they see Kyle Troop, they just see Kyle Troop. They don't see, well, today or when he won his event, he was trying to spin it and get his
Yeah.
hand to the side and rip up through. Normally, when you watch Kyle Troop, he's pretty smooth and rolly. And a lot of
Yeah.
guys might not realize that.
And the variables
Maybe.
like
That's my thought.
The average bowler doesn't want that,
Right.
or the average viewer of bowling doesn't want that.
I understand, but what I'm saying is like they also don't really even realize
What they're doing.
the tens or more variables that are going on, and the fact that when a guy pulls up from a shot and goes, well, what the hell? And it could
Which
have
I agree with that.
it
by
could
the
have
way.
been ball speed, it could have been burn up, it could have been wrong ball, it could have been a whole bunch of variables of things that even the bowler is confused about, let alone the viewer. You know what I mean? And that's where I'm saying, like, if the bowler got confused by something, sometimes a viewer would then be like, why did that not strike? And hopefully, and then when Randy's going like, well, I think it was, the wrong ball, or, he got a little fast on that one. And like, Specto can only do so much
I thought you don't want Specto.
for the bowler. I'm talking about for the viewer is a whole different thing. Okay.
Here we
Specto
go.
for the viewer is one thing. Specto for the bowler is a whole
There
other
we
thing.
I
go.
just, to be completely frank, I just don't think there's enough time in the TV broadcast to go through all that.
Well, that's on the PBA.
It
But
is.
yeah.
It is.
Yeah. Well,
they
But
should
there's
have-
just
I
not
think-
enough time.
I think
agree.
you
To
could
go
talk
through all
about
that,
that.
they should have a pregame.
The pregame would
100%.
help. You need
Well, the pregame.
commentary in between shots with someone who's actually breaking it.
Actually, no.
slow mo.
A pregame should be like an hour before the show or an
Even
hour
if
and
it's
a half.
30 minutes.
And they should deep dive. They should go for like 15, 20 minutes and deep dive to the player and interview the player and say, what is your strategy? What do you want to do on this show today?
I don't think
Forget
people
that.
will watch it.
Have the you might be right, but even if you have bowling ball guys on there and you're breaking down core stuff and cover stuff, all different segments, you know what I mean? Just on different.
Yeah, but you don't go in.
aspects of
No,
the game.
I
That's
agree.
what
It would be
I'm
nice.
just
but
saying,
it,
yeah.
it would be a waste of money for the PBA to
I
do
know,
a pregame.
I
You
know.
don't go into the NFL locker room and ask them what they're going to do to break down the defense
Right.
because they're not going to.
But that's why I'm saying if
They
you
ask
had
the
Well,
coach
in the
as
NFL
he walks on the field, "Hey, coach,
What are you going to
gonna
do?
do
Well,
today?
that's the coach's
Well,
job
we're
to, you know,
But I'm saying you could have the pregame thing. But when
yes,
you do
Mitch,
pregame,
like the NASCAR breakaway car, that would be perfect if they could do a slow mo in between each
exactly.
shot.
Yes, the breakaway car. Yes, the breakaway bowling ball.
The frig is a breakaway car.
They show you the inside of the car, the motor, the roll cage, all of the
They
bits and
pinpoint
pieces.
they pinpoint exactly what they're talking about and then explain what
Yeah.
it does.
So
they
I
should
talk about
start, they
the
should start doing a pregame
flux
show.
capacitor.
Yes, the flux capacitor.
You can show me where that is.
So anyway, they could do that in the pregame show, but the pregame is more about speculation and educated guesses than it is interviewing players and stuff. I mean, you can do a little bit of interview players, how you feeling, but you do live views of the guys practicing. Oh, he's looking good today, blah blah blah. Blah. But it's you're not going to
Are
get
they
there.
horses now? Well, the horse looks good today.
Yeah,
Tracks
Like,
firm.
but that- yeah,
track is firm.
I guess I just personally would rather have more money put into like the slow mo breakdowns in between shots than worrying about like, hey, I see you're playing to the right on the practice pair today. You know, you think you're going to be able to play there? In
Yeah,
your
but
match?
it's not even again, you don't have to have those weird interviews. It's I think it's better if you do recorded packages from the week of the tournament too, where you can show more players that don't get to be on TV and stuff like that. But anyway,
They
I
do throw a segment like that in, but it has nothing to do with bowling.
that's what I'm. Yeah. Oh yeah.
They have a
we have
pregame show. But
pressing questions. Thanks for nothing.
I can't really press.
I do think that the I think I would actually prefer to see how they're attacking the pattern. That would be my personal thing. The pregame show is you got a guy. I mean, maybe you can do it beforehand, but you say, hey, what's your thought process today? How do you expect to go about attacking the pattern? How do you think the lanes are going to play a little different today? And what are your 4 or 5 bowling balls that you really are trusting today going into the match? And when are you going to use them? I think that would be a little bit more interesting to me.
Did you guys happen to catch the PBA League televised matches? Because they kind of did do that intermediate, like, hey, we're talking to the coach right now. I see so-and-so did this. Do you think what do you think his move should be? What do you think is going on? What do you think happened in the shot?
I didn't see.
That was very interesting to hear.
I didn't see that one.
Yeah.
But I've seen it where they
like.
I didn't see that one especially, but I've seen them where they would go up and interview the coaches. What's your game plan for this next match? You know.
I will say, as much as I dislike having the ball reps be able to communicate with the guys while they're bowling, it is nice to have them communicate with the booth. So it does add.
Do they do that?
Yeah. So like Randy will be like, hey, Mike Wolf, right? He's usually on there. What's going on with?
I talked to him once.
I know.
I had no idea who it was.
What's going on with
he has a name. He has a pattern named after him, and I had no idea.
That's how I was at States. I was talking to Doug Kent, and like I turned around, my dad was like, "That was Doug Kent." I was like,
dude, I hate that you
Doug
don't
Kent?
know who that was.
That's hilarious.
So they'll talk to Mike, and they'll be like, I can't even think of who a Brunswick bowler who was on recently, but I'll just say, what's going on with so and so's game right now? Like, what should he be doing? Is he going to switch balls? And then they'll whisper into their mic and be like, yeah, I think we're gonna switch to something a little stronger, maybe move a little left, blah, 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 whatever their game plan might be, which does add a nice element to the match. Again, I dislike the part about them communicating and having like a caddy there to tell them what to do, but it does add, for a viewer wise, a pretty cool element to the show.
I don't mind it as long as they all have it.
Does anybody else thinks that Troop's pants, he's got like red in between his butt crack, and he's really throwing me off every time? I'm sorry, Kyle. I'm just looking at it, and it's like, he's got this little red thing slit right between his butt cheeks. And
Mikey's gonna ball rep for me tonight.
Oh, I gotta work tonight.
Mikey's got to work the desk.
Whoa.
Yep. No school tomorrow, so. All right. Well, speaking of bowling, we do have to go bowling. Ant, what are you using tonight?
I don't know.
Round pellet.
I don't actually know what I have here. Probably my new Defender, Ultimate Defender, just to see if it works good. Are you making fun of me?
He did. He totally just did.
And then if the lanes break down a little bit, which they normally
agree.
don't because I'm left-handed, I'll use my Black Widow 2.0 hybrid.
All right.
What are you using, Kyle?
Purple
Hammer?
No. That is my spare ball. But I am always bringing the Absolute Power now. That thing is stupid good.
Power.
And I took out the Summit Peak. Sorry, Nick. And I'm putting in the Attention Star. Pay attention.
So you need to have another Absolute Power.
I know. I just don't.
You're going to burn it out, buddy.
I know.
I'm gonna throw the ball that carries the 10 pin.
So your plastic ball? Because it hits it on the side.
Yeah. I'm gonna try the Scorpion low flare.
Oh,
yeah,
brand new.
yeah.
That's right.
Ant just drilled it up, but I'll
5
probably
1/4
end up
by
throwing
50.
the theorem.
All right.
5
And
1/4 by 50.
as we leave you,
Uh-oh.
Benji Martinez did jump back into 5th. Simo is
What's the top 5 right now?
climbing
What's the top 5 step ladder right now?
trying to climb back in, though. He did shoot that 250 game. He's in 7th. EJ in 1st. Zach Wilkins in 2nd. Kyle Troop in 3rd with his whatever clothes those are.
Joey's
Marshall
using his
Kent
raw
again
tonight.
in 4th.
I'm kind of
Joey D.
Zach
no
Wilkins.
kidding, buddy.
Zach Wilkins, a
Benji
all-star
Martinez in
player.
fifth.
Belmo.
We bowled next to him at the Bud Bowl, and man, is he a fiery little guy. He's like
Really?
a little.
Belmo.
I don't remember.
Did
You don't
not make
remember?
the
He
All-Star.
was kicking stuff and yelling.
Oh,
and
speaking
Really?
of speaking
yeah,
of
he's a
little
little
guys.
horse jockey too.
Speaking of little guys, when I went to Junior Gold this past year,
Yeah.
I met some people. I met Simo,
Uh-huh.
and my dad was talking to him 10 minutes, and like, it's so crazy that you guys are so short. You get that much power. And I'm just like, Dad, come on. I know it's Simonson, but, you know.
Your dad was nervous. talking
He's
to him.
got a
He's
point, dude.
he's a little
Have
guy.
you seen how tall the real deal is?
Yeah, he's a little
Billy.
short,
he's
bro.
pretty
Billy's-
short.
He's a short guy.
Dude,
Like,
Simo's
I
pretty
was
short.
right there with Simonson.
Almost
I was
small, too.
He his top of his head was below my chin.
Who, Simo?
Yeah.
He
I
kind of
was
looks
right
like a
there with
middle
him,
schooler.
Like a little bit. Like I was right here to Simo.
All right, guys, don't forget to like, subscribe, click the bell to get alerts. Thanks for tuning in tonight. Thanks for chatting with us. Let's see here. Go to all of our social pages. Like us on Facebook, Instagram, X. Email us at downlanepod@gmail.com and check out the Etsy shop. Get one of those shirts. Thank you to Jack Scaccia, proprietor of Town and Country Lanes. Awesome Van Buren. Awesome show tonight. Mikey, good show tonight.
Oh, appreciate you guys.
Thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having
Westmont
me.
left grandma's teeth.
Oh, my God.
He had the first 7.
Whoa, and he threw it in the gutter.
Is that a 4-1? That's a 4 miss.
One,
He had the front 7
3,
for miss.
5 miss.
No, it's 4.
That's a
God.
4 count.
That's
Anthony, good show tonight. My family's here tonight. Thank you for coming. Stephanie, Zach, and Ethan.
Ethan made
Jam
an
bread.
appearance.
We will see you guys next week. This is Down Lane Podcast.